ready. We're just waiting for the Band of Wonders. Band of Wonders.
Hmm. Wonders. I
Yeah,
see.
huh?
In late game. I like it.
Wonders. But yeah, once we get started, so there it goes. We're in. Kyle, we had our Wednesday balance patch. Do you
Mm.
think we'll see a tracer ban?
Probably if this was solo queue, I don't know. It's tough to say. I've witnessed so few, and we didn't.
And we
No.
didn't.
Yeah.
But two not super surprising bans.
No, not at all. Particularly Falstad on this map. Falstad in general in organized environment. There's the Li Ming. Will it be a tracer on the other side?
I mean, when Kael'thas goes away, I mean, Li Ming.
Yep.
Yep,
And
that's
no Jaina's. Jaina's out at the moment. Just in style, anyway.
yeah, which is really weird because she hasn't been touched in quite a while.
She's got great damage. I mean, if you're looking for someone who can sort of carry through a damage place, I mean, you got like Greymane who just blows people up. Thrall, well, awesome. There he is.
Yeah.
Has to do a little bit of work, right? You have to land the wolf. You have to get in there. You
But
have
he's
to
a
do the
super
damage.
good laner.
Absolutely. But it's just not that explosive, your deleted potential of a Jaina, which she can still absolutely do. It's just not safe. And a Tracer really ruins your day.
Yeah,
With a Thrall, I mean, there's no real, maybe Orc Bros to start us off?
Orc
Rhaegar's
Bros.
definitely
It would be interesting if they grab Zagara too, because she is very, very good on this map. Simply, I would say not simply for the vision makes her awesome. The Maw makes her awesome. She does very good damage, and she can do a good solo lane. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't see her. But it looks like Band of Wonders is actually going to grab their support. Not Orc Bros, sadly.
It's pretty, but they could be planning something. Of course, in these sort of environments with pre-made teams, it might just be their support players the best Uther.
It's true. I know that this composition can sometimes be used to set up like an ETC mosh pit divine
Yes.
shield,
Brutal.
and a lot of times we actually see ETC banned during the second ban phase because he's not quite important enough to early pick because he can be countered too easily. But at the same time, no one wants to deal with him.
I'm curious to know if late game is going to get themselves a second tank. You can put Thrall on the Shrine. He'll do just fine. He'll be able to sustain himself. If you don't have someone like that, though, sometimes you can just kind of get whittled down in the background, and then the tank has to cover it. There's no zoning created, and the whole enemy team can just wipe in there and steal your last couple shots.
Yeah, and I it'll be interesting if they grab their support right now. It'll give Band of Wonders less stuff to try and ban out because they've already got their support, so they can ban the support they don't want.
The
Late
Murden
game to
pick
have.
is interesting. There's the Tracer.
Okay, so Tracer actually grabbed before the second round of bans, and I mean that kind of makes sense because it's quite possible she could have been taken out here if she wasn't picked.
Now, this is a scary combination because the Muradin is 100% the anti-melee in the game right now.
Yep.
We got Uther, we got Thrall. There's good potential for them to just completely own them with the Tracer jumping around the back. Does Band of Wonders pick their one tank, who's going to be melee, and then go with range? But that leaves a nice little, back line that Tracer can get into.
And so the question is, looking at this team, what does Band of Wonders ban out? Do they ban out a support? Do they ban out maybe like the Rhaegar? Or do they focus on something else?
With a Tracer and a Li Ming, I would love to see. And I love them on this map too because all the little pits.
Yep.
A Kharazim.
Yeah, and there's the Rhaegar ban. So that's what I was kind of wondering. They don't want to play against the Rhaegar, and there's the ETC ban because I feel like putting Uther that early kind of shows your hand a little bit as to a potential comp you could do if they let you have it.
Which they had to be prepared for. It's
Yeah.
so obvious.
Oh, sure. And late game is just like, yeah, that's obvious. We're not going to let you have ETC. That's ridiculous.
So what do they do instead? I mean, do they really have another good option? I mean, with this group, actually, could it be Cho'Gall? Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome. I haven't gotten to cast a Cho'Gall in far too long. I would be completely okay with that. Okay.
Nope, not gonna happen.
No, not gonna happen. So I was gonna say there's really only one or two viable tanks really left once you take out Muradin and ETC, and Johanna is definitely one of them.
And I love the Johanna pick of Blind to get rid of the Tracer.
Yeah, and Blind is insane
Yeah.
against Tracer just because of how fast her autos are.
Well, and then the reload. She misses all her attacks and then gets stuck in another cooldown. And then Greymane, lots of burst melee. Well, Greymane can always hover back and then deliver the kill, then turn back into his range character. So maybe the Muradin won't be such a big deal. I assume either way the Muradin will be going Reverberation at level 1.
Probably, especially looking at this comp. And the Greymane probably seals that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too though, because Greymane's Incendiary Elixir talent was reworked not too long ago, and so it's a little harder for him to poke with his Q now than it used to be.
He's still fantastic.
He's still he's still great.
The delete potential on him is awesome. You know what? I know it's not popular when we get into pre-made matches, but when we're looking at supports that could ruin Band of Wonders' day, Lily comes to mind. Because you have two very controllable times to blind. The Thrall on his wind-up with the Wind Fury, and Greymane going in for his ultimate, which is auto-attack based.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And actually, a game a week or so ago, we saw a Lily absolutely destroy, and she took Water Dragon, too.
There's going to be that cover.
Yeah, there it is. Man, Josh is going to be so mad. Josh is like the biggest Karazim fanboy in the world, and no one ever picks it. So of course,
I'll try to I'll try to carry the torch here because I love Karazim.
He's just not an NA thing that much. Like you don't see him in NA near as much. Like Europe, all the time. But yeah, he's not been really a thing here, at least in the pro scene.
The positional opportunities for the Karazim here with the Zul Muradin front line, the Leaving in the far back, and Tracer zipping all around. He's going to have so many movement opportunities. If we put the Karazim on the enemy team, he basically delivers himself to the front line, and that's the only thing he can do. And a Rainer, all right.
The damage potential of Band of Wonders is sickening.
But it is slow and deliberate. Bursty, sure, with the Greymane and the Thrall, but in the most part, if the engage isn't called, it's just going to be a slow whittling, and if they fall behind, I think late game is just going to dance circles around them.
Yeah. You've got great poke with Li Ming. You've got, in a lot of ways, good poke with Tracer as well, just because of what she can do. And then really nice lockdown with Zul.
And the anti-melee potential, which is easily forgot about because it's all just bone prison right now.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. It looks great. It just hollers, attack this guy, much like a Diablo.
Yep. Exactly. So, looking at the team comp for Band of Wonders, some of the squishiness of late game, do you feel 7-sided strike coming out, or do you think we'll see that palm just because of the squishies?
The palm, I mean, the 7-sided strike would allow him to get so aggressive, disappear for a short amount of time, and then get back on the field. I don't think it has any sort of giant killer potential. I'm not particularly concerned about Johanna, who can give herself a shield that's not based on her maximum health, unlike Muradin, whose ultimate gives himself more maximum health.
Yeah.
And something like that would just be burned away. So I think it'll just come down to ultimately the player's style. I hope it's Divine Palm. I would love to see some sick Tracer dives.
Yes. Very much so. It would be... I would be a little disappointed to see 7-sided against this team. I think as long as you're good with the palm, you could get a lot of mileage out of it.
But on the other side there, too, we got that Greymane, the Thrall. I mean, that could just delete a Karazim before he's ready for it. So really going to come down to his skills. And I think a lot, I mean, if we're looking at this, a lot is going to rely on the timeliness of Muradin and his reverberations and Karazim's Divine Palm. The rest of it is going to look pretty solid and safe.
Yep, completely agree. Well, guys, we're loading in. Sky Temple, late game versus Band of Wonders.
Now, we're what, 2/5 there, Band of Wonders. Clearly late game took the extra step of commitment to get themselves all on the Vala portrait.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for the portrait synergy. Like, that gives you a leg up right off the bat.
Right, you're playing something ahead. Maybe you've had some nice conversations about how you should coordinate in a team fight, where your location should be. You took that extra level to think ahead, and I'm excited to see them. Though, of course, I mean, they're both sides. I love Raynor. I love Raynor, and he's been getting just ruined on all these tier lists recently. And
I
it's been
know.
making me sad.
I like the recent one Shrey released. He
Yeah.
was like tier 3 or 4.
Oh, he was on the bottom. It was
What?
don't even play unless
Was
you
he
max
really that low?
down on tier 5. With
Oh,
elite.
good lord. Poor Raynor.
Yeah, poor Raynor indeed.
Oh, goodness. All right, guys. This is our best of one, late game versus Band of Wonders. On the side of late game, we have Menochio on Zul, Gygus on Li Ming, Ilian on Muradin, TGA2 on Karazim, and Jack Burton. Ah, I love that name. Jack Burton on Tracer.
Is that a name from something, or does it just have that like?
It just
good
sounds
scoop for a punch?
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so good. Kyle, you want to tell us who's over there on Band of Wonders?
I'll do my best. On Murden, we have Thumper. On our Lumberjack Uther, we got Balin.
Yes. Lumberjack
Timon.
Uther.
Riding out on the cat as a wolf man. Life and color on the Raynor looking fantastic. And up top, we got Hortonius. That's a good Johanna name. Good and regal.
Oh, goodness. Lots of postulating in the middle. They're not really grouping up to try for a big gank, it doesn't seem like. Everything's fairly standard right now, lane split-wise. We got a Zul and a Karazim versus the Thrall, so that's going to be a bit tough for him.
We're only 40 seconds into the game, but already Band it knows exactly what they want in all these lanes, and I really like seeing that. There's no real, I mean, sure, we're floating with the Uther and the Grey Mane, but everything looks really planned. The Thrall in the bottom, the Raynor in the middle. You know, nothing too bad's going to happen to Raynor. He even went and give me more for that safety.
Yeah, and that's actually probably a really good idea, especially if they leave him in that solo lane a lot. It'll make him so much harder to gank. And down bottom, Thrall is just doing what he can to try and keep his towers up a little bit, but these huge pushes with the Zul wipes are insane.
They're going to rotate mid, too, so showing some confidence that they're just okay leaving that down there, and maybe even they can get this Raynor, but he's going to play safe, get on back. Both temples are up.
So it looks like right now we have late game grabbing the middle. Band of Wonders has not grabbed the top yet, though it doesn't look like there's going to be much in the way of a fight for this, Kyle.
No, it looks like we're going to have a nice gentleman's exchange. Maybe a few little Li Ming pokes up top. Maybe a little Raynor action, but mostly they're just dedicated to Soak. And I think that speaks well to what we talked about earlier, that, you know, Band of Wonders is just going to have a tough time if they lose the XP game here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tracer, in a lot of ways, and Li Ming to that extent, is a little like Illidan. If you can get ahead and you can get those resets going and the damage going, you can really snowball a game fast.
Well, and she's set for some of her spells to 3.5 a level, so she's actually weaker when she's behind, as opposed to other heroes who always advance at 4%. But
yeah, and that's very
dedicated to
weird
Soak.
for her, too. She's one of the only heroes that is like that.
Yeah, and we have the reverse on Cho'Gall, but again, we're not seeing that today, as exciting as that would be.
There's still 2 games, Kyle.
Here we go, right?
There's still a
hope.
chance. Hold out hope. A little bit of a skirmish in the middle. Greymane's actually taking quite a bit of damage. The bomb goes off on Balin, and he's going to fall.
Yeah, he'll be back up soon enough. His ghost will heal up the Grey Mane in the meantime. This is giving Johanna some time to soak, but it's interesting to see that even with all these rotations coming out of late game, they're still taking the XP right now.
Yeah, no, they're doing an absolutely fantastic job. And I think a good part of that has been Zul. Zul's been doing really well at shifting between, at least early game, shifting between the bottom and middle lane to make sure everything was completely clear.
As we're starting to see these talent builds come together, things are looking pretty scary for our auto attackers on Band of Wonders. If they do not time their Wind Fury and their Greymane ultimates just right, they're going to end up in reverberations. They're going to end up attacking a shaded Zul. It's just going to be really rough for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is probably it's great to point out Shade because of all the comps he could have gone Shade against. This is probably one of the best.
Yeah, I don't really see the other ones much. Hopeful. I'm hoping that they're gonna add a little bit of pizzazz in there to make the other ones more viable. It's just avoiding auto attacks. It's good, and we still see Greymane doing the full Gilneas cocktail build.
Raynor in a little bit of trouble. Hortonius has to come down and kind of bail him out a bit, but Balin's going to heal him right up, and gank successfully dodged. Bottom temple spawning now. We'll see all the rotations down. Night camps have been taken, both top, and so they'll kind of cancel each other out. So we should see a pretty good fight at the bottom here, but it looks like late game's in the better positioning to start this.
Yeah, and Johanna's just going to give it up. She's not even going to travel the distance. Though Raynor, everyone else is making it down there. Again, they're really, really concerned about that XP. So we'll see. I think they're just going to get zoned out, though, by the level up on, the Li Ming orbs shooting their way.
Well, not only that, yes, they are soaking, but they're losing structures as well. And structures are worth a decent bit of XP, too. I mean, they're a good half level up right now.
In the middle here, we really showed the value of Raynor versus Tracer, though. It's it's that Indiana Jones moment where the guy's flipping around with the sword and he just shoots him with the revolver. Raynor stands his ground, and nothing that she does. She just keeps shooting her in the face.
Yep. He's got the burst, and he's got the self-sustain to heal through her sustained damage, which makes him, like you said, one of probably the best Tracer counters in the game right now.
Now, Hortonius actually took the top, so that's pretty stellar. They did lose their bottom fort due to the tower shots. It looks like a big fight's going to break out in the middle, at least gesturing-wise.
Those orbs at full range are just absolutely scary, Kyle.
Interesting that the Li Ming decided to go with a Calamity build.
Yeah, dominance, astral presence. We do have ults coming out of late game, but Band of Wonders is going to get them real quick. They were able to even up the XP pretty well, actually, even though they lost the bottom temple.
Nothing too surprising here. Looks like we're seeing all our usual ults on the field. Pulse round's actually going to be one for Tracer, though, so more bombs all the time.
Man, Hyperion and Sundering go off, and unfortunately, both of them are kind of wasted here.
Yeah, the
Sundering
Hyperion
doesn't hit anybody.
Oh, yeah, the Hyperion not even landing a single tower shot there, and we're fully grouped, and Zul's taking the top, and someone needs to get up there and deal with that.
Yeah. Azul left in a lane by himself is not a happy thing for the enemy team. Because that dude will push, and he'll push very hard, very quickly. Looks like Band of Wonders is going to try and just grab their giants. We do have late game circling around. Balin going to get caught out. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. The
Good
Divine Shield goes off to get out of the Bone Prison. Wow, beautiful escape by him.
That was excellently timed. Actually, he avoided the cleanse, too, against the Bone Prison. So those are going to be extremely important Divine Shields throughout this entire game.
What did he end up taking at 7? Wave of Light.
Which is an excellent talent. And with this many melees, he's going to have to put out a lot of healing. It really ups your ability to hit them all and continue to put out with enough mana those heals that you need. And, hey, Band of Wonders is just going to dog the middle.
Yeah, like you said, we're getting another gentleman's trade here. Which, come on, guys.
Scary.
Come on.
This is always a little scary because, in this case, late game has control of the bottom, and they're going to push out this mid, and they do have a small window of opportunity to take a boss, and actually they're going to go for it.
And this is really, really smart by them. They've still got a few more tower shots. They're going to have to be really careful as Band of Wonders is rotating down. This could be very bad.
They're entirely off the map. I mean, Band of Wonders has to know this.
They don't see it.
No, they have this big push in the bottom that might be taking up some of their distraction. And
wow.
That's going to be a boss.
Late game with the free, uncontested boss. And this is, like you said, this is going to be a huge deal. They can pretty much push wherever they want right now.
And it looks like they're going to go take some top, get a little more XP.
Yeah, I would like to see them go, like, maybe steal the top knights, possibly, and take that fort. Because, I mean, we can see every single person from Band of Wonders down here at the bottom.
I think the only thing that's stopping them is just the sight on that tower. Otherwise, they would have immediately dived for the top. Here, the boss is down, so we're already good to go. Looks like we got Uther and Johanna leading the charge. This is going to come to positioning, really, as this comes out. And if they can land those abilities right when they need to.
And honestly, this was a really good boss for Band of Wonders. They really did not lose much of anything. They were able to clean them up pretty fast. Tracer Pulse Bomb goes off on Life and Color. He's going to be okay. He's still got his regeneration. It's just kind of a defense around the fort right now. Johanna doing a really good job at kind of taking everybody in. Poison Nova goes out, but not a lot to follow up. Hyperion and Sundering go out, and now late game's on the run.
Sadly, that Chain Lightning does connect on the Murden. He gets his Divine Palm out. They're wailing on him so hard, and basically both teams are exhausted of their ultimates right now. Tracer does have another bomb available, so I'm pretty concerned about Greymane in the back there. But luckily, with the fort there, it survived too.
Kyle, no one died. What the crap? How did everyone survive? I don't understand.
Just speaks to the skills of the supports here.
Yeah. That was a beautiful palm by Karazim.
Yes.
Onto Murden. And a very unfortunate, like you said, Chain Lightning by Thrall. Just one of those, crap, it hit.
Yeah, but now Li Ming has her illusionist talent that's going to give her the range to actually land those calamities that she needs to manage the big burst damage. We have a Shrink Ray out of Uther, which is just going to be so paramount against that Li Ming if he can get that deep against Tracer to slow her down. But really, as this comes together, I'm not seeing a lot of answers to the Tracer.
No, and honestly, maybe they think that Raynor himself is a good enough answer.
Yeah, you got a blind, you got Raynor, you got a Shrink Ray now. Raynor's in a tough position, but he's able to switch up.
It's a lot of it's a Mexican standoff here, Kyle, or a Egyptian standoff, I guess.
Yeah, that works.
That's the map. Murden taking a ton of damage off the bat. Li Ming Disintegration goes out. Hyperion and Sundering, beautiful job stacking the ult. So much damage going out onto late game right now. Nice piercing bolt by Murden to keep him up. But Menchino is going down. But look at the poison damage.
They got two. They got Tracer. They got Zool. I mean, the poison damage is going to push them back, but their support is still going. They need to make a nice straight line for that healer. That heal wave off of the Uther to do maximum effectiveness, but they're going to move in. Late game doesn't care.
Li Ming wants these guys so bad. She's seeing resets. There it is. 2 people down. Thumper super low. Hortonius going to have to kind of back up too. And Murden is out for blood.
Looking a little better on the map, though. Some push power in the bottom off of a single giant left. But actually, if we're just looking at forts at the moment, Band of Wonders is coming back.
Yeah, they've still got their top fort, which structures on this map especially matter a lot more because of the objectives. There's some maps where you can have less, structures and it's not necessarily the end of the world. But since this is an attrition map, because of those temples, the more structures you have, the longer you can just outlast it.
Murden has absorbed so much damage this game, and he's going with that imposing presence. So yet another opportunity for Band of Wonders to mess it up if they end up wailing on that Murden at all with their auto attackers.
Looking just at the map right now, late game has done a really good job keeping all their lanes pushed out. Band of Wonders rotating around, just trying to push their lanes back somewhat, partially because that great giant push in the bottom that was just kind of ignored.
Well, and a lot of this is coming down to just the team comps. We have Band of Wonders with an awesome comp to just destroy one person very quickly, even own an entire group. But when we look at late game, everything is pretty push dependent. I mean, we even went with the bullet spray on Tracer. There is just more potential for more XP to absorb quickly by late game.
Band of Wonders is sniffing this out this time. They're like, no more free bosses for you, and they're going to push everybody back. Bosses down to about a 4th health. But Hortonius getting very low, and this smells like a throw pit here, Kyle.
And that's a well-placed little tornado to just mess up Raynor, unable to participate in that fight at all. Orb coming through the side. He's going to keep going. Great heal onto him, but that Tracer just keeps poking around the top. The boss is off the pad, too, which is just going to make the position by late game that much easier. Hyperion goes out. Okay, Earthquake follows it up. It's a pile of ults going in. They're going to hold the point. The Poison Nova goes out as well, but Leeming is just wailing from the side, and actually, Blue starts to dominate.
Wow.
And they take it.
And Kyle, I think right there, we just saw this is the power of the Leeming resets.
Yes.
She was able to get so much damage off. And right now, they don't even care about the temples. Every single person of Band of Wonders is dead. They're going to push as hard as they can with this boss. They got Kerosene going down just to grab the bottom, because the bottom's going to start shooting the bottom keep and push even faster.
Reinforce that, though we're only 15 minutes in. We have short death timers. This is not the end by any means. They're 2 level behind right now, but they've got their 16s. So we have to worry about 20s right now, but even so, I mean, Band of Wonders isn't out of this yet. But the positional power of the teleport and, well, all the teleports that come out of a Tracer, those blinks, just allowed them to really just circumvent a very slow, methodic group from Band of Wonders.
Oof, and we are getting actually even some permanent core damage from this boss. So fantastic use of the boss. Both temples firing. Kerosene just finishes the bottom one. They're holding the top one right now. And these keeps are not looking too healthy, Kyle.
The good news is, though, that Greymane has done awesome stacking with his Inner Beast this entire game and ended up taking the Glenneus talent. So I'm thinking now that he has all his talents together, he might be able to bring the Thunder. Benediction is out on the Uther. Things are looking pretty good from the specs, even with only a level down now.
If only for a moment.
And there's the 20. Absolutely right. It's Temporal Flux, too, which just is going to ruin this positional battle. Earthquake goes out, isolating the Zool a little bit. He's still got everything. There goes the Poison Nova. We're still waiting on the Divine Palm, and it's going to be able to...
Oof. Man, Uther just getting wrecked right here. The Poison just doing so much work. Divine Palm goes out, not actually going to proc. And now, even though Band of Wonders had a nice little turnaround there, it's still going to be a 2 for 5.
They're going to close in here. You know, Uther really just isn't able to handle that level of poison damage. If you go with something, even a Brightwing can be a little slow behind, but very effective. You know, a Rhaegar, that bouncing heal on the Chain Lightning, is able to clean up all those little dots going on in the background.
Yeah, and it looks like this is going to be game. They're able to turn that in. They broke their last fort. They've got a nice minion wave coming in with Zool, and it's just too many people still left up, Kyle.
And it sounds like, just by the chat here from Band of Wonders, that they maybe just had some targeting issues. They ended up going exactly for a single guy, which Kavrazim picked up on immediately and was able to counter.
Yep. And overall, I think the team fight synergy of late game ended up beating out the synergy of Band of Wonders because of those massive AoE poisons from Zool first off, and then Li Ming being able to capitalize into that with resets.
The Kharazim, though, such an amazing pick in this situation. The Zool was also picked last as well, so no real answer to that. Just the push power with these kind of single target characters. Raynor, Thrall, Greymane, you know, great guys in lanes, of course, but when you get into a fight, you're looking to delete one man, and those palms ruin that plan every time.
Yeah, and that was absolutely the ultimate he should have gone with. I thought Life in Color on Raynor did actually a pretty good job. I don't feel like Tracer was necessarily like ridiculous or anything. I think
she opened up the possibility, though, to split the enemy team as they had her poking in from the sides. It's kind of that old Jaina play where there's just random frost bolts coming from odd angles, and every time you thought you had a handle on the fight, there was just something else poking you in the background. In that fight around the boss that happened towards the late middle of the game, the the Band of Wonders got dragged upwards,
Uh-huh.
and that allowed Li Ming to get in position and just wail on them
Yep.
with the laser and the arcane orb.
Yeah. No, the resets for the Li Ming really clenched a lot of those team fights for them, especially, and it's so dangerous, especially the fight around the middle temple, mid game, when they had killed one or two people, but they were so low. Li Ming capitalized on that with a nice double kill, and then pushed Band of Wonders back completely, almost by herself.
And we can't, it's hard to see from our angle how much of an effect things like reverberation plus the curse from Zool had on the auto attackers of Band of Wonders. But they were certainly reducing their attack speed a good majority of the time, as well as their overall damage.
Yeah, and at the same time, we can kind of see that in damage a little bit. But I mean, honestly, still, Raynor and Greymane and Thrall all did fairly comparable damage
Yeah.
to a lot of the other characters on late game, except for Li Ming being a little bit higher than the others. But I mean, it all came down to a very few team fights, I think.
Well, and look at the kill count. It's small. Both teams
Yeah.
did rather fantastic. I mean, the fact that Raynor, Thrall, Greymane even, was able to pump out these pretty solid numbers to get above Muradin, who was constantly auto-attacking, is pretty stellar.
Yeah. No, very good job by both teams. Band of Wonders just, unfortunately, I think they got out-comped a little bit.
I
in
would
this
have
situation.
to agree.
Yeah. But GG's to both teams. Congratulations to late game